Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. Lobbying by Poland and Hungary has led to the removal of the phrase gender equality from a draft declaration on advancing social cohesion that the European Union was expected to publish on Friday, according to diplomats and documents seen by Reuters. Poland's conservative ruling Law and Justice Party and its ally, socially conservative Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, promote traditional social values at home and have repeatedly clashed with their more liberal Western peers over issues such as feminism, LGBT and migration. The Polish side has underscored that legal clarity is important and that the Treaty of the European Union clearly refers not to gender equality but to equality between women and men. Arriving at the European Council summit in Portugal, Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki stated that equality is important in the workplace. Eliminating this gender pay gap, in particular in the workplace, and all the conditions and criteria which relate to equal pay for women and men is a very, very high priority. And I am happy that in accordance with data which we regularly receive from international think tanks, we are quite high, number 4 or number 5 in the European Union in this race to eliminate the gap between men and women, in particular in the workplace. The two countries oppose mentioning gender equality directly in the draft paired for discussion by the bloc's 27 national leaders, who are meeting in the Portuguese city of Porto on Friday and Saturday. While an earlier draft said that the bloc would promote gender equality, the later version avoids the phrase. The main Belarusian opposition leader, SVIATLANA TSIKHANOUSKAYA, has testified before a United States Congressional Committee calling on the United States to take a greater role in international discussion about the political crisis in Belarus. Street protests and persecution of dissidents have been taking place since the presidential election last August, the result of which is widely believed to have been falsified by President Alexander Lukashenko. SVIATLANA TSIKHANOUSKAYA told members of the Tom Lantos Human Rights Committee that Belarus's independence and serenity, constitution and rule of law are at stake.
Our independence and sovereignty, constitution and rule of law are at stake. And that is why we are going forward with the proposal to hold negotiations on the peaceful transition of power. My country is in crisis, and that is why I urge you, the elected representatives of American people, to continue acting decisively. We call on the US to engage in international mediation jointly with European partners.
TSIKHANOUSKAYA said that the United States should engage in mediation with European partners and take part in organising an international conference focused on Belarus.
We call on the US to use its diplomacy to further isolate Lukashenko, to underscore that his point of political no-return has been passed. 9 months into the crisis in Belarus, there has been no in-depth conversation of major international powers about the path to resolve it. We call on the US to take an active part in organizing such an international conference involving a broad range of stakeholders. This would allow us to review the situation in Belarus and work out steps to resolve the crisis through elections.
Committee co-chair, New Jersey Republican Chris Smith, said that the committee would draft a letter for the Biden administration regarding the organisation of an international conference.
And I can tell you we'll organize a letter to the administration asking that we take a lead, if not the lead, in organizing a national conference. I think that's a tremendous thought, and I think it could yield some fruit, hopefully, and it would underscore our commitment to democracy and a peaceful transfer of power. So thank you. We'll all have more questions as we move forward, but thank you so very, very much.
TSIKHANOUSKAYA is living in self-imposed exile in Lithuania. French senators have stirred up emotions after proposing an amendment to an anti-separatism bill designed to strengthen France's secular values. If the amendment passes, girls under the age of 18 would not be allowed to wear a veil in public. The initiative has been met by online protest under the hashtag #HandsOffMyHijab. The place of religion and religious symbols worn in public is a long-running matter of controversy in France, a staunchly secular country and home to Europe's largest Muslim minority. France prohibited the wearing of Islamic headscarves in state schools in 2004. In 2010, it banned the niqab, the full-face Islamic veil, in public places such as streets, parks, public transport and administrative buildings. When I found out that the Senate had voted for that bill, I realised that it was possible for it to officially become the law, and that overnight I could be forbidden from wearing my hijab in public spaces. It shocked me, but it also scared me because I figured I would have to wait to be 18 to have access to my religious freedom. The amendment pertains to all religious symbols, though opponents say it targets Muslims. Some senators argue that the criticism does nothing but shield Islamist ideology from scrutiny. I am observing that for part of those sitting in this assembly, there are always good reasons not to fight that ideology, not to fight that totalitarianism. Every time we propose something, you always have a good reason to tell us no, and you always have a good reason to oppose. You do not want to fight that totalitarianism, and you are finally accomplices of it.
Et vous avez toujours une bonne raison.
President Emmanuel Macron's anti-separation bill cracks down on forced marriages and virginity tests and includes stricter surveillance of religious associations. It initially made no mention of preventing minors from wearing the hijab in public. A joint committee from Parliament's two chambers will debate the amendments, and they may yet be scratched from the bill.
Warsaw Zoo is celebrating the first public appearance of its baby mountain bongo, born just 2 weeks ago. The African species is critically endangered, and therefore Warsaw Zoo will put great efforts into securing the baby's survival so that future generations will be able to enjoy its beauty as well.
The baby antelope enjoyed its first public walk outside with its mother on the 6th of May, after a cold spell had kept her indoors until now. SYLWIA, GRODKOWSKA, the head of the zoo's ungulate section, said that they are usually difficult to breed in captivity because of their shyness. She said the baby was excited to explore its surroundings. These antelopes are difficult to breed, not because of how they reproduce, nor in terms of how many of them there are, but because of their character. We are actually one of the only zoos in Europe that keep these antelopes in an enclosure that is open for visitors, and that is because these antelopes are extremely timid. The animals are nocturnal and have a striking appearance due to their long horns and their reddish-brown coat offset with white or yellow stripes. This is an antelope, and a little antelope. It now has two tasks, eating and sleeping, and unfortunately a lot is dependent on this. We are lucky as this is its third walk outside. It is exploring and is still excited about the changing surroundings, new smells which it is encountering. We can see that it is quite active. Mountain bongos, the largest among Africa's forest antelopes, are a critically endangered species with only about 70 to 80 adults left in the wild, according to the Red List of Threatened Species.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.